We just saw the conclusion of one of the best Ashes series that we have had for a very long time. Australia winning the first two tests, England bouncing back to win the third and the fifth test, the fourth test unfortunately ending in a draw due to rain. However, had that test match gone ahead, England could have potentially repeated the 87-year miracle that had happened in 1936-37, where Australia, who was 0-2 down, they won it 3-2. Now, England and Australia, they have played out an epic, gut-wrenching 2-2 series result in the Ashes. Australia may have retained the Ashes. England might have been thinking, what if had certain things gone their way? But despite the 2-2 draw in the Ashes, England and Australia's chances of making the ICC World Test Championship Final are already very negligible, because of certain incidents that have gone against them in the Ashes series. The 2-2 series result is not the main criterion. The main criteria this time, and which hurt Australia in the 2021 World Test Championship Final race, was penalty points due to a slow over rate. Now, before I tell you what are the penalties that have been imposed on England and Australia, I'll take you through this table now. Remember, in the first month of July, after the new WTC cycle began in 2023-2025, three series happened. The Ashes between Australia and England, India versus West Indies, and Pakistan versus Sri Lanka. Pakistan won both their games in a commanding fashion in Sri Lanka. So that is why they are on top with 24 points. No problem. India, on the other hand, they won the first test against the West Indies in Dominica, but then the Port of Spain test ended in a draw. So they ended with 16 points. Australia may have gotten 18 points. West Indies have gotten 4. England may have gotten 15, but they have gotten 9. But look at the column on the last. -10, -19. Those are the penalty points given, and they have been deducted. So Australia should have actually been 28, so has England. But because of the points, penalty points given to them, from 28 they are down to 18. England, on the other hand, they are down to 9, despite playing 5 tests and winning 2 of them. So England sanctioned 19 points for a slow over rate in the Ashes. Australia sanctioned 10 points for similar offence. Now, how was the breakup? This is the situation where Australia lost points. First test, 0. Second test, 0. Third test, 0. Fourth test, 10 points. 10 points were lost. Look at England. 2 points, 9 points, 3 points, 5 points. This is the problem. England lost a total of 18 points, 19 points, because 2 points in the first test, 9 points in the second test, because they were well short of the over rate, 0 points in the third test, 3 points and 5 points. 4 out of the 5 tests, except Leeds, most of the teams lost points. Now, this is the main reason why England and Australia's chances for the ICC World Test Championship Final has already taken a major blow. Just have a look at the playing conditions that is there, because it is clearly mentioned. In the 5th test at the Oval in London, England have been penalised 5 ICC World Test Championship points. Australia have been penalised 10 WTC points and fined 50% of their match fee after being found 10 overs short in the 4th test. 4th test, that too in a rain-interrupted 4th test. When England were batting and Australia were absolutely clueless against baseball, at that time they were found to be 10 overs short. And that is why they got the heaviest sanction, ironically, in a rain-impacted test match. Because it's already been there in the ICC provisions, revised provisions of the Players' Code of Conduct. Players are fined 5% for their match fee for every over their side fails to bowl in the allotted time, with the cap at 50%. Remember, that changes happened, that you cannot fine 100% of the match fees. That cap has been set to 50%. No over rate penalty is imposed if a team bowls out the opposition inside 80 overs twice within 160 overs. That's why both England and Australia escaped with a sanction at Leeds. They bowled the opposition out under 80 overs or 160 overs twice. but it didn't happen in all the tests because many spinners, there was no spin option at all. Nathan Lyon was there for the first 2 tests. England hardly employed spinners. That's why you've seen this massive points penalty, 19 and 10. Now, how fair is it? Usman Khwaja is not happy because Usman Khwaja stated, don't even get the chance to bowl in the second innings at Manchester due to 2 days of rain. And ICC still issues fines and takes 10 WTC points offers for slow over rates. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, imagine if they had managed to bowl out England within that 160 over mark twice, then you need not have even had the over rate penalty. The ICC are really not doing the game of cricket any service by imposing these kind of strict over rate penalties. Agreed. Bowlers have to step up and ensure that they finish their overs on time. At one point in the Ashes, in 1 hour, only 9 overs were bowled. Just 9 overs. But remember, pace bowlers versus spinners. In India and in the subcontinent, you can prepare sand pits, you can prepare dust bowls. Spinners will run through their overs very quickly. But if it's a true wicket like in England or Australia, what do you do? Where spin doesn't become much of an option, then what can you do with this? Now, this is the equation that is potentially needed for both England and Australia to make it to the World Test Championship finals. And this comes with the caveat that no further over rate penalty shall be imposed. Now, what is the situation that is confronting England and Australia? Now, we all know that when you want to make it to the final of the World Test Championship, you need roughly about 60 percentage points to seal the deal. Australia sealed it with 65 percentage points the last time. India were the rare exception, they got through with 58.8. But remember, with 58.8, they still had to wait until the first test between Sri Lanka and New Zealand in Christchurch. Once New Zealand won against Sri Lanka, then India sealed the deal with just 1 test to go in that cycle. Now, 14 tests remain for Australia. They are going to play 3 against Pakistan, 2 against the West Indies at home, but they will also play 5 tests against India at home as well. Now, that could potentially alter their fortunes. 14 tests, 137 points. That's what they will need. From this 14 tests, they need 137 points. So if 14 into 12 is equivalent to 168, out of 168, they need 137, which is not an easy task. But England's chances have taken a big hit because out of 192 points, 16 tests, they have 16 tests remaining, including 5 in India and 3 in Pakistan. That's 8. They need at least 151 points out of 192 to ensure they make it to that 60% cutoff. Now, if they don't make it, even Australia do not make it, you could potentially see your dream clash that every Indian cricket fan has been waiting for. If India do well, that is. An India versus Pakistan final in 2025 at Lord's. Yes, June 2025 at Lord's is the final of the World Test Championship 2023-25 cycle. And if things go well in plan, then India versus Pakistan final could very well happen. Because remember, Pakistan has started their series on a good note. They play West Indies and England at home, but their away tours are a potential problem because they'll play 3 against Australia, 3 against South Africa. So that is why this kind of a situation could be a slightly tricky one for Pakistan. So at the end of the day, we have seen great action, but the ICC has kind of diluted it by giving the strict over rate penalties. Do you agree with the strictness of those over rate penalties? Because pace bowlers shoulder a lot of burden. How can you expect them to run through 90 overs in a day and finish it on time? 80 is the cutoff, but how can they do it? You'll need to stack your team with spinners. Nasir Hussain is of the opinion that yes, this kind of strict over rate penalties is a must so that the game can speed up. Ricky Ponting, on the other hand, is not a big fan of those penalties. And remember, many of the sides are playing a 2-test series. Why would you want to play a 2-test series? Andrew McDonald, the head coach, has said, we want a 3-test series. Minimum should be a 3-test series. 2-test series, hardly any turnaround time. The bowlers are fresh, the players are fresh. 5 tests in 46 days is a logistical nightmare, and England and Australia have paid the price for it. 19 points for England, 10 points for Australia. So England, despite winning 2, have gotten only 9 points in the 5 Ashes tests. Talk about taking a massive beating. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well.